Hello and welcome to Naval Action. This is VMAQ2-X. There are 671 online, 118 battles. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, US. There was a patch today. Captains. The following changes were applied today, April 23. Trading improvements. Ports buying trading resources will no longer drastically drop prices when fully stocked. The Trader tool will now provide more accurate pricing information, helping traders make better informed decisions on where to deliver goods. Loot adjustments slightly increase the amount of doubloons dropped when seeking second-rate NPC ships in the open world. Module interface update. Module information cards now include the module's group and weight. Combat changes. Slightly increased grape shot damage. Increased mortar damage and reduced required crew. Boarding improvements. Reduced the likelihood of NPCs reacting to last-second command switches during boarding. First and second rates, 75%. Third rates, 60%. Fourth rates, 50%. Fifth rates, 25%. Sixth rates, 10%. Seventh rates, 0%. Slightly reduce the impact of crew loss differences on morale during boarding. Consumable adjustments. Reduce the weight of hull and rig repairs from 2.0 to 1.25, allowing players to save more hold space for other consumables. Those are the patch notes. Okay, my status in the game so far. I am at craft level 26, working my way up to 27. My silvers, I have 166,000, which is down from just like a day ago. I had 360,000. But the process of feeding this crafting beast, that could eat up a lot. That eats up both of your time and your reals. And so I did about as much hauling and crafting I could do yesterday, and then finally, I had to take out the links, have a couple battles, and I was trying to unlock one of those hunt mission chests, so I got a clip coming up here directly showing you that. And I want to see what you get in the chest. So that's what I'm doing in the game. This crafting thing, it is a major time sink. So, this game has a lot to do, I feel. There's all kinds of different combat. Then there's this crafting and hauling. And so, but the thing is the crafting can really, really eat up a lot of your gameplay. So, if you want to do both, combat and crafting, it becomes a time management issue. Because there's only enough hours in the day. And after 2 battles or so, I've had enough combat for the day. I don't see how, I've been reading comments in the Discord where people were, this was like, let's say at the 7-day mark after the patch, people were saying, I've had hundreds of battles, and I've not gotten this drop or that drop in my loot. Well, at 7 days, let's be generous and say the guy had 200 battles in 7 days. Let's do the math. He said hundreds in his comment. So I'm going to be conservative and say 200 battles divided by 7 days equals 28 and a half battles a day. So we'll round it up to 29. Okay? Now let's say 29 battles times 30 minutes a battle. That's 870 minutes. Divide that by 60. That equals 14 and a half hours. So you're going to tell me that this guy has been playing the game, fighting battles 14.5 hours a day for 7 days straight. Sounds like BS. Maybe he's winning all his battles in 5 minutes. I don't know. This doesn't strike me like World of Tanks, where your battles end in 15 minutes or less. Some battles, they take a while. I know my battles are approaching the 20 to 30 minute limit to sync, but I've been fighting in Lynxuses. I would be interested to see how that actually breaks down. Was the guy BSing, or am I totally taking too much time to do my battles? I'm telling you, I'm spending a good 20 minutes of battle, 20 to 30 minutes of battle, trying to sink these ships. I mean, the timer is an hour and a half, and when you get into the big ships, it takes a while to sink those. How quick does boarding end a battle? Because a lot of people have been doing this rage boarding thing until the devs put their changes in to stop that. How long does it take to sink a first rate? That's an interesting question. If you know, share it in the comments. How long does it take you on average to fight your battles? Okay, here we are on yet another cargo and supply run. And after my last video, I announced that the devs have altered boarding mechanics, and there was a storm of rage on the Discord. And the best part of Discord is when the Admiralty Speaker types something in, because then you're hearing it right from the devs. And so I've taken to, when I see him say something interesting, I will screenshot it on the phone, and I'm going to read some responses to you word for word. And you can judge for yourself how because for me, that tells me how the devs are thinking and where they want to take the game. And so there was one where the Admiralty Speaker was responding to a yet another critic who was saying that they don't listen to the player base, and they're just doing what they want to do, blah blah blah. So here's what the Admiralty Speaker wrote back. You don't know what you are talking about when you say that we don't listen. We listen to proposals whose ideas we believe are moving the game forward, in line with our vision. We don't listen to proposals which try to make the game into a grandma-friendly mobile lobby clicker. Naval action is hard. Some players love hard games. Some don't. Those who don't are of no interest to us. And of course, there is no benefit to attract grandmas. There are already enough mobility support devices in form of green zones which did not exist in 2016. It's impossible to be able to satisfy all audiences at the same time. And then there was another little nugget where people were complaining about how hard the XP is to grind up, and they want bonuses to help them along. And Admiralty Speaker's response to that was, I am going through the full XP run myself now, 2 hours per day max. Had 5 full sessions already, 220 crew. For me, it feels too fast. Now have to venture out to PvP. We'll see how it goes there. So, if you're complaining about it being too hard of a grind to get rank and crew, that's what Admiralty Speaker thinks about it. Another person was complaining about the new player experience. And the Admiralty Speaker said, We are improving new player experience. New Bahamas provide a lovely, beautiful location to level up to a frigate. In a week or two, vets will reduce the amount of resources they buy once they level up crafting, and competition will reduce the cost for all consumables. So I guess the point was twofold there. The new player experience in the green zone is the prices are insufferable, but they say it'll settle out. And then he was responding to a particular individual in this one. You are as persistent as me, mate. You and your constant request last month on test and here inspired to add PvP ranks, honor in parentheses, with special rewards and mods a la classic WoW PvP ranks. I am personally responsible and it will happen within a month. Honor will be granted for PvP kills of other PvP players of the same rank and higher, and rank will give access to special rewards, making PvP a lot more exciting. Unless you kill civilians, unranked in parentheses players, then you still get nothing. No prey, no pay. So if you're going out killing lower level players just to farm, you're not going to get honor rewards. You got to be equal rank or higher, sinking players, to get the honor rewards. So that will be cool when they roll that out. I'll be interested to see what that entails. And here's another one where someone was saying they need to make it easier to get into the game for people starting out. And here's what Admiral T Speaker had to say on that. We had easy, click, click, you are in a frigate gameplay for several years. Click, click, couple of days, dash frigates. Click, click, couple of days, dash first rates. The conception of get to first rate fast and then players will PvP and PvE is properly tested in the past. Yes, of course, there were additional things for those who stay, investments and such, but new players always had it easy. Master and Commander rank for 2 kills, for example. Yeah, in the exam, you could go into the exam at a low rank, and if you won the exam, they automatically promoted you to Master Commander and gave you a frigate, guns, repairs, and money. So that's what they think about that. They're not going to make your grind up to rank easy. They feel it's easy enough now. Here are some responses to the boarding kerfluffle that happened today. Boarding was printing too much money at no cost. We know it. You know it. People will complain, of course, but for balanced economy, this leak should slow down. They also stated that great buff incoming. As we said on launch, we are looking into grape. Great TTK, I don't understand what that means. Time to kill should be faster than sinking, because you need to take off some planking first, and then you should be able to kill full crew in 4 broadsides max. So that tells me a great buff is coming. Here's another one from the Admiralty Speaker, where somebody was complaining about we were forced into rage boarding, and now you're taking away that. So, Captain, if you see people complaining about the feature you want to stay as is, you should defend it and not ask to touch it. If you roll back the chat and read it, you will see how lots of PvP players complain that rage boarders are sailing without guns. Just as an example, doubloon loot was increased several times since launch. and it did not motivate players to start shooting, as shooting can easily be paid back with loot and make money. If you craft gunpowder, first-rate combat is most profitable activity per hour. Rageboarding was just printing money. We understand. Many upset cheap doubloon printer is gone. Um, Here's one where they're talking about gunpowder. Test server had crap gun efficiency, and to fix it, gunpowder consumption had to be changed. Damage efficiency of 4-pounder was 7 times higher than 42-pound. Rightly pointed out by you. He's responding to a specific person. To counter gunpowder consumption, doubloon loot was drastically increased. Cutter gave 60 doubloons on test. Delivery missions made 800 to 1200 reals. Now Cutter gives 250 doubloons, and delivery missions make 2500 to 8000 reals. So I guess the guy was complaining about gunpowder costs. And then someone says they're shifting their focus away from naval action to this Sea Legends game that they're also working on. And Admiral T Speaker had something to say about that. He says, no, we have not shifted focus. As NPCs should be able to counter properly if player switches command, maybe not at often as now, but line ships harder to be boarded will remain. So, like I said in the patch notes, the reaction times, they've altered those so that the AI will react better, faster to your click, your last second click. So be careful out there. The Raiders are coming. And on that issue, they were supposed to be here the last weekend. They did a poll asking the players if they wanted them or not. That was overwhelmingly no. So they delayed them, and they're coming now. Raiders are not on yet. Will be on by weekend. Once they start running, then we will be able to discuss the real changes. In general, first port timer is decided by the attacking clan. Then it stays until the clan is not able to defend at this time and loses to raiders. Raiders will change the timer, and the majority of timers will fall at the max online slot. Oops, got to turn the boat here. So that's going to prevent clans from pulling stuff like setting their timers into a time zone when the majority of the player base is not playing. Here's another one. Someone was talking about the rage about the boarding issue. And Admiralty Speaker says, third rates are boardable. It's just players mocked us for NPC boarding, saying you don't need to press anything and we'll win. AI is too stupid. Now it takes some planning. Plus, you can still guarantee easy victory by using medicine during boarding, unless you don't want to use any consumables. So I guess that's something that they're noticing through their data is nobody's using medicine, nobody's using repair kits. I mean, if you board, do you really need to use a repair kit for your sails as your hull? So that's a good point. So those are some of the nuggets that I pulled off of the more recent chat flows on the Discord, and I'm wondering what you think about them. I'm telling you, if you watch that Discord and when the Admiralty Speaker types something, read it, because that's straight from the dev's mouth. And of all the people you're going to read on Discord, that's the one that I try to pay attention to the most, because that's what's what. They're the ones that control the game, and everybody else is just in their world. You know? So let me get back to business here. Okay, welcome back. I just finished syncing the links. This will complete the seventh rate mission that I've been having for a while. But I got my first book, The British Mariner's Assistant, Skill Book Class Universal. The British Mariner's Assistant, an essential guide for British mariners, providing practical instructions on ship handling, navigation, and rudder control. Barrow's work details how helm adjustments, current, and wind conditions influence a vessel's turning ability, allowing skilled captains to maneuver with precision even in battles. Bonuses: ship turn rate 2.5%. So, outstanding. My first book drop since the wipe. Pretty happy. Last battle I got a Master's Gold plating small, so that was pretty nice. But gonna head back to port and see if this is one of the special encyclopedia ingredients. If not, then I'll learn it and I'll show you how that works. And then I'll also open the chest that I've just earned. So let's escape. Another thing I'd like to note is I caught fire 3 times in this battle. He hit me, I'd catch fire, I'd click 8 real quick, and then I'd click 7 to take the gun crew off. Because if you're on fire, it's going to go from the minimum emergency repair crew to the max. So you need to have max people fighting the fire. Otherwise, you're going to burn to the keel. So that was one thing. So let me escape, get back to port, and then we'll look at what the chest gives us. Another thing I'd like to note is that experience for sinking Lynxes has gone down. I was generally getting around 30, above 30 XP to sink a Lynx. Now, for this one, I only got 16, but he caught fire a couple of times, and a lot of the damage was from the fire, so maybe they didn't count that for me. And then this guy, he never caught fire, so I did all the damage. I caused, 13, 19 of damage. This one here, I only caused 880. That's probably why I got less, but still, both of these are less than 30, and I was getting 30, 31, like in that area. So I'm seeing less XP, but more doubloons. And I've gotten a goodie in each of my last 3 Lynx fights. I've gotten a goodie. So happy about that. I had 400 ball loaded before that fight, so I used 96. I didn't use any chain. And I had 2100 powders, so just under 500 powders. It's not a terrible amount, but I'm sinking smallies, so if I was trying to take on a big ship, it would take a lot more of that. So headed back to port. Okay, here we are back in port. So I'll move my gold in here. Here's the copper plating that I got from the last battle. Master copper plating, small copper plating, revolutionary advancement that coats the ship's hull in copper sheeting, preventing marine growth and shipworms. Acceleration time is plus 10%. Deceleration time is minus 10%. And then oh, here's my book. We talked about that. Now the first thing I want to do is I want to check my recipes and see if that's one of the books for the recipes. So it's not part of art shipbuilding. Art of ship handling. think that's it right there. The British Mariner's Assistant, 1 of 1. So I'm going to keep this and not learn it. Like one of the things you can do with the book is you would right-click it, and it says Use. Now, if you click Use, the book is going to disappear, and then it becomes something that you can load on your ship knowledge slot. But I want to keep this because I want to use it to craft this Art of Ship Handling book. So eventually these other 4 books will drop, and then I'll make a super book, and then I'll get the benefits of all 5 of these books in one slot rather than having only one. So I'm going to hold on to that. So that was nice. Status on unboxing the links is I've got 3 slots done. 4th one, I've got about 11 to go. And then after that, I'll have 60 more. So I'm looking at a good 3 battles left in the links before I'll have it all the way unboxed. And then once that happens, I'll retire it. And let's look at my fleet here. These ships are still on sale, but if the privateer doesn't sell, I don't know, maybe I'll keep that and I'll unbox that and experience. Because I think what happens is a lot of people are in such a hurry to get to the big ships. They don't take time to learn and enjoy the little ships. Privateer is an excellent ship. So I think maybe what I'm going to do is spend some time playing around in the little ships. And, and eventually I'll get my gold built up enough where I can move up out of here to a deep water port, but I'll keep this port with some small ships in, and I bounce back and forth and play around with the small ships when it gets kind of onerous in the open world, in the PvP world, because there's times that if you go out of your port, you're just going to get ganked sometimes, so I'll come here, sail around in a little, learn how to use it, learn its tricks and stuff. That's my plan, I think, now. So, oh, I completed that mission. Let's look at the journal. Got target 5, rank 7s. The reward is a chest, a mission chest. So let me move these down here. So what I'm going to get is going to show here. It might give me some wood, so one of these might change. But what happens is you got to be in port. You're going to click claim rewards, confirm. Oh, it goes to this. It goes to your rewards chest. Then you're going to click on the chest again. Right click, send to warehouse. Going to move it down here. Item can only be opened in port. Open. I don't see any wood. I think all I got was some diagonal riders. So I might put these on the Cerberus. Give it a little strength. But another little gift. Can't complain about that. So now that hunt mission has been used, you go to missions, battle, and it should be available again, but it's not. Let me close this and open it again. Well, that's kind of bogus. I'll have to check the other ports when I'm sailing around making deliveries, and I'll pick it up there. But that's one mission complete. I definitely want to have another one because I still got to sink some more rank 7s in this, and then whatever is left over, I'll do with the Cerberus when I start going back to that. So there we go. Got our first book drop. Got some more nice stuff. Need to put some of this stuff on my ships, and got some more doubloons. But the experience that I'm getting from these battles is less than what I was getting. 24 for one battle and 16 for the other. I was averaging around 30 previously. So I don't know if they changed that or I'm just not doing enough damage. So gonna rearm, and I think I'm done fighting for the evening. I'm gonna go maybe make a couple cargo runs, check some ports, and see if I can find another hunt mission. Because if I'm gonna hunt more 7s, it's foolish not to have that hunt mission and get another reward while I'm doing the battles anyway. So that's what I'm gonna head off and do. Thanks for watching.